everyone, my name is Michael with Georgia Firing Line, and today we're going to talk about superpowers you can buy. So we figured if we're going to film a video about night vision, why not film it through night vision? So we've managed to shoehorn a PVS-14 onto our standard filming camera, and behind me we've actually got the specs for said PVS-14. So using my handy dandy laser pointer, make sure that's clear, we're actually going to go through the specs and explain what you're actually looking through. So right up top here is Figure of Merit, or FOM. This is a number everyone on Reddit likes to talk about as being your all-important number, all-encompassing. This number means the most to people online. Whether they're right or not, it's a different question, but it is a nice quick reference number. So your Figure of Merit, what it actually is it takes your resolution, which is the clarity of the tube, that's this number right here, 72, and your signal to noise, which is how much TV static there is, and it multiplies them together. So you take 72 and 30.1, and you put them together, and you get 2167.2. So it's a very quick reference number, very easy to tell. This tube is good, this tube is bad. Your EBI, that's kind of one of your other big important numbers. That's your ability to see in and out of shadows. So it'd be like if there's a big old shadow here behind me, it's your ability to see into that. And then halo, if you notice the laser here on the screen, the little ring around it. So halo directly relates to how big that ring is going to be. The lower the number, the smaller that ring is. Just some simple kind of night vision specs. This is a standard PVS-14 that we try to stock here. Gives you a pretty good reference of kind of an average tube. Nothing super fantastic, but it's definitely a good tube and kind of what most people are looking at their entry-level night vision units. So we're going to get into one of my actual night vision setups, my gun right here. This is one of my main firearms that I use for night vision, is a B&T TP9. It is a neuter version of the MP9 that everyone sees in all the video games and the movies, just not having a select fire feature because the government hates us and we can't have fun things. Starting at the front of the rifle, we have a suppressor. It is a proprietary can that B&T does for the MP9s. They are a little bit funky inside how they work. Instead of your bolt locking into your barrel locks into your bolt. So your barrel's moving around inside the gun, which means I can't have a standard thread on the end of it. So B&T has designed a shroud system that QD's on and off, so it's a modified tri-lug with this big old shroud over here on the outside of the gun that the suppressor locks into. It is a nice quiet can because it is absolutely gigantic. It's also a flow-through can, so it definitely helps to cut back on gas that escapes out the back end of the receiver, making for a more pleasant shooting experience. All in all, it's a great can, and you're stuck with it either way if you buy a TP9. So it's nice that it actually works. Sitting right there behind the vertical foregrip, you've got one of the triggers of all time. No one's ever really liked TP9 triggers. It has to do with the original design being a graduated trigger. So on the original guns, you would have a half pull for semi-auto and a full pull for full auto. B&T's transitioned to a regular rotary style safety, but they never actually got rid of that terrible trigger. They've just left them in there. So you're kind of stuck with it, unfortunately. There are some companies working on some aftermarket modifications for them, but nothing's hit the market quite yet. So we're kind of waiting to see what those are going to be like. It does operate kind of like a pistol, so you got your magazine sticking right through your pistol grip there. Moving a little bit further back on the firearm, you do have a folding stock. So on most TP9s, you're able to lock that stock close. Of course, I've actually lost that feature because I've shoehorned a laser in its place, but it does make for a nice overall, compact package. Speaking of lasers, this is what really makes this gun at the moment great for night vision. Is I have put a Wilcox RAID XE onto this rifle. It's basically a mini computer you can stick on your rifle. It does all your night vision stuff. It also has a lot of other cool features to it. What makes it really cool is your adjustability and customizability to it. It can do a lot of things for you. It is your standard, illuminator setup, so it is, visible laser IR illuminators, but it does a lot of things that are really special. So it is a VCSEL illuminator. What that means is instead of being a single diode that makes your, IR flashlight, it is a bunch of diodes that come together to form your flashlight. The benefit to this is how these diodes are regulated. They are power regulated for civilian use, and they're regulated per emitter. So on your old school devices, on your PEC-15s, on your D-balls, you have one emitter that's regulated to a power output to be eye safe, and that's it. On your newer school devices, your RAID XEs, your MALs, your 3ARs, what they've done is instead of having one diode, you have a whole bunch of diodes that individually are compliant with the regulations, but their combined output is definitely significantly increased, which is a big benefit. Being able to punch out, get through photonic barriers, and being able to just see things a little bit further with it definitely is a big advantage there. The other really cool feature about this guy is the Wilcox switch setup. So on this side of the rifle, you've got Wilcox's switch. There's 3 buttons. They're all tactile, so you've got a straight up and down line, an actual point, and then a horizontal line, so you can know what you're hitting, even if I'm not looking at it. The benefit here is these buttons, no matter what setting I've got my laser in, so I've got a dial on this side that I can put in a whole bunch of different modes. No matter what setting I have this in, I can program these buttons to do a specific task, and when I hit that button, it does that no matter what I've got this set on. Benefit there is I always know what these buttons are going to do. So I've got this one set up right now. It's my big wide illuminator for room clearing, for CQB stuff. It does a really, really good job because it's a big giant field of view that I get there. My middle button is set up to be just whatever I've got my laser set up as and on my switch, so I can just hit it from this side of the rifle instead. And on the back, I've got my actual high intensity illuminator and IR laser, so I'm able to do my spotting, do my shooting, so no matter what I've been messing around with, I know this one's always good to go there. It's also really cool because it is focusable, so when I have it in my IR mode, I can do that and pop. I've actually got a dial right here on the back that I can edit the size of my beam. So up close, it doesn't look like much, but when you're shooting at 50 or 100 yards, being able to focus that down or widen that up is a really nice feature to have. And it's just right here on the back. So I've got a little dial that I can play with, and it's really, really easy to adjust. Sitting on top of the gun itself is an EOTech EXPS3. That's EOTech's night vision compatible model. So I've got the night vision button right there inside. EOTechs are definitely my favorite optics for night vision use. They were designed to work with night vision. It's just a nice big floating dot out there in the middle of space that it's a really, really convenient thing to have. Very back of the rifle, you got your charging handle. It is one of the charging handles of all time. It's flimsy and will definitely get replaced as soon as I can get my hands on a metal one. The gun itself is super, super lightweight. It makes it really easy to use through those longer nights. It's, weighs nothing, throw it in a backpack, grab it and go. It's ready for you. It does really well for me for things like I shoot our 2-gun competitions a lot with it. Things that are a little bit closer in, a lot of our night shoots, I'll take this guy out because 9mm is cheap and easy to shoot. There's not a whole lot of recoil to these guys because it's fairly lightweight, but it's still 9mm, so it's really, really easy to control. Hand it off to a buddy and they're gonna have no problem shooting it. It is one of my favorite platforms. It's cool, it's in all the video games and movies. It's just a neat gun overall. The other part of my night vision setup is the helmet itself. I've got some 1431s with some Elbit tubes in them attached to an OpsCore Fast SF helmet with some Peltors on the back and a Surefire X300 Vampire. We've actually done a whole video on this setup that you can check out right here. You don't even have to just be a shooter if you want to buy night vision. It's useful for a lot of other things. I really enjoy hiking in my night vision. Stargazing is probably the thing I do the most with it. If you don't like your neighbors, you can mow your lawn at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I always find it fun when it's like 2 o'clock and I want a sandwich. Instead of turning on the lights in my house, I just throw on the tubes and go make a sandwich and have a good old time. I cooked a steak once. That was really neat. It's just a whole lot of fun. It's a superpower you can buy and mess around with, and I love it. Absolutely love it. If you guys have any questions about night vision stuff, about anything having to do with lasers, guns, helmet setups, please reach out to us at any of our links, or call the store, or even come in and see us in person. We're more than happy to talk to you. What the hell was that? Again, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We're more than happy to help you out. This has been Michael. Y'all stay safe. Have a good one.
Why is it so dark in here?
I don't.
Oh, there you are.